Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we go to the junkyard to pick up the front suspension for the BRAT. I'm about to head out, grab some gas, get some Gatorade, go pick up my dad. We're gonna head up to the local LKQ. They've got a 94 Subaru Legacy that I believe still has the front suspension on it that we can use on the BRAT. So come hang out with us.
Salvage yard in Oklahoma City.
Alright guys, so I just want to explain a little bit why we're doing this. The BRAT has a 5x140 bolt pattern from the factory, and there's not a lot of wheel options that have, a 4x140 bolt pattern. 4x100 is pretty popular, but the 4x140 is not. And so by doing this 5-load conversion, we're essentially converting the BRAT to a 5x100 bolt pattern, which is, other than the 5x114, a very common bolt pattern for Subarus. This will also give us disc brakes all around, bigger brakes, and accessibility to parts. I mean, any parts store is going to have parts for this brake setup, and I really like that. And so if we're going to add more power to the BRAT eventually, we're going to need better stopping power, and so that's why we're doing this. It's fairly common on the Gen 2 BRATs. I'm going to have to do some make some custom parts and do a couple of things to make this work. Not a lot of people have done this on the Gen 1 from at least research I can find online, so we're going to kind of build this as we go, but in theory all of this should work. So I just want to go over that a little bit, but back to the video.
was easy.
Alright guys, I kind of want to go over a little bit what we're doing here. We're measuring the vacuum plate that came off the BRAT to find the outside diameter, if you will, of the bearing housing that's on the trailing arm on the rear of the BRAT. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm getting the inside diameter, tracing that out on a piece of cardboard, and then getting the 3 bolts there, because that's the actual mounting points to the trailing arm of the BRAT. And then what we'll do is we're going to measure the backing plate of the Impreza. And so we're going to make essentially a spacer / adapter, if you want to call it that, that will allow us to mount the Impreza backing plate to the BRAT trail arm, which then we can mount the hub and the brake calipers and the rotor and all that stuff once we have this. So we'll be using 3 of the 4 holes here on this backing plate, and that's what I'm doing here in the video, just tracing what we just did on the BRAT backing plate onto this piece of cardboard. And this is going to give me the dimensions and the bolt pattern of the Impreza backing plate. And so this is going to allow us to do the 5 lug swap in the rear from the backing plate standpoint. And then we'll move on to making the hub once we've got this squared away. So here's a little sneak peek of the hub we're designing for the 5-lug conversion. A lot of people use an XT6 rear brake caliper, which works on a lot of Gen 2 BRATs. However, it doesn't appear that's going to work on the Gen 1. And the way we're doing the backing plate, we're going to have to make our own hub. So I drew up this hub in Fusion 360 and then printed it on my 3D printer. That way we could test fit to the BRAT and get the proper spacing, and then I'm going to have my dad actually machine it. So as you can see here in the video, it fits nicely. And appreciate you guys watching today. I got a lot prepared for this build, and just really appreciate you guys coming along with me.